Welcome back, kids, to the Children's Learning Program. I'm so glad you came back for another week of learning. So, for today, I was just reading a really cool book called Stacy's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams, and you'll be learning some really cool words to use. So, after reading that, I will read that to you today, and then we'll go into some math and some science, and then we'll give you that one Spanish word for the week to use. So, let's go ahead and read. Stacy's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams. Stacy loved words. She loved to read and write and say them. She adored fun words, long words, unusual words, words with wonderful histories and weird combinations. Whenever Stacy learned a new word, it was like making a new friend. First, she would find the dictionary, then she would look up where the word had come from and learn its secrets. Did any of its letters hide and stay quiet? Like the P in ptarmigan, a bird that lives in cold northern regions. Or were they strong, like the I in bright? Next, she wrote the word in her special notebook of extraordinary words. She practiced how to arrange the letters just right, how to sound them out. That's because she loved spelling interesting words most of all. With her favorite words, she would try to remember their quirks, what made them special. When she saw a super long word like automatopoeia, a funny word to describe the sounds of other words, she had to jump and sway. Words like duckling made her grin. Persnickety tickled her tongue. Sometimes Stacy thought that words understood her better than people did. When she sat by herself during recess, they never teased her about being quiet, or about being clumsy when she fell, or awkward when the joke in her head came out wrong. When she read books under the covers, words never told her to go to sleep. Words understood why she was grumpy and anxious. In fact, words helped her explain what she was feeling, if only to herself. One day, Stacy's teacher, Miss Blakesley, asked her to wait after class. She squirmed in her seat because she was afraid. Petrified. Another way to say really, really afraid. Usually, the teacher only kept a student after class because of a blunder, a mistake. Miss Blakesley called Stacy to her desk and she returned her spelling test. A big red 100 sat at the top of the page. The teacher asked her, "Do you know what a spelling bee is? A really smart insect?" Stacy joked. The teacher smiled. A spelling bee is a contest where students compete to spell as many words correctly as they can. I would like you to participate. Stacy couldn't believe it. Who else will be there? I am nominating you and Jake. The spelling bee is next week. Stacy's excitement suddenly evaporated. Jake was not her friend. He was a bully who knew words too. Just yesterday, he had used a complicated word that made Suki cry. Last week, she heard him say something cruel to Sivko about his accent. Stacy thought it was stupendous that Sivko knew words in 2 different languages. Stacy knew as many words as Jake did. She wanted to say something when he said mean things to her friends, but she was intimidated, scared, because sometimes he said hurtful things to her too. She wished she had used her clever words to help Suki or Sivko or herself by speaking up. Perhaps at this spelling bee, she would be braver. At the spelling bee, she would not be silent. All week long, Stacy studied her spelling words from school and the ones she kept in her notebook. Still, the spelling bee felt as far away as the longest word she had ever seen. Sesquipedalian, a fancy way to describe words with lots of syllables. The days of the week were monotonous, torturous, and sluggish. Every hour felt longer and longer. Stacy wished for the week to whisk its days away. Finally, the morning of the spelling bee arrived. Stacy walked into the county library with her mother, holding her hand tight. Mama gave her a big hug and whispered into her ear, "Just do your best. Your dad and I are very proud of you." Stacy followed her teacher to the room where the other students waited until it was time to go. Then they went onto a stage. The announcer explained the rules. Kids stepped up to the microphone one by one to get their word. If they spelled it right, the announcer told them so. But if they made a mistake, a bell would ring. The students would have to leave the stage. No overdoers. Stacy's turn finally came. Her stomach ached with nervous energy, but she was ready. Say the word, dither. Sound it out. Dither. Spell it. D-I-T-H-E-R. That is correct. The announcer called on the next student and the next. Promptly. Enormous. Shutter. Transportation. Craggy. Reception. Village. Finally, only 3 contestants remained. Stacy and Jake and a girl from another school. The girl went up to spell her word. Ding! She had spelled chocolate without the second O. We are down to our final 2 contestants, the announcer told the audience. Jake took a long time to spell accept. Stacy got squeezed, but she remembered the lost letters she adored, like Q and Z. Jake tackled clambering. Stacy conquered disengage. Then Jake defeated geometry. Stacy returned to the podium ready to do battle with her next word. She repeated it. She pronounced it. She spelled it. Instantaneous. Instantaneous. As she waited for the announcer, the bell dinged. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The proper spelling is... Stacy couldn't hear the rest of what he said. Tears filled her eyes, but she stayed on stage like a good sport as Jake got his trophy, and she received her second place ribbon. Everyone congratulated Jake, and so did she. Good job! Jake laughed and rolled his eyes. At least I know the difference between I and E. Stacy felt embarrassed, but she refused to let Jake make her cry. Well, I misspelled my word, but I do know how to be courteous. You should try it. She turned away and went to find her mom. If today were like one of the stories Stacy loved most, she would have won. And Jake would have learned that words were a gift that shouldn't be used to hurt people. But things didn't always happen that way in real life. Sometimes change was harder, and it didn't happen right away. Stacy felt a hand brush at her cheek. It opened her fist and smoothed out the ribbon. Mama? She put a butterscotch candy on top, Stacy's favorite kind. You okay? I lost. But you came so far, nearly to the very end. Not far enough. I got the letter wrong, and I didn't win. I failed. You only fail if you stop, her mother reminded her. I know there's a word for that. You know it too. Stacy thought about one of her favorite words, perseverance. Perseverance. Exactly. So let's go home and learn more words. There's always next year. Stacy imagined all the words she had yet to meet, new words and new ways to speak up and help others. She'd find them all. No, Mama. There's always tomorrow. Stacy's Extraordinary Words by Stacey Abrams. Illustrated by Kit Thomas. Get your kid a copy at HarperCollins.Children's.com and other stores. That was a really cool book, and I enjoyed reading it to you. Now let's go ahead and put the book away, and let's kind of switch gears over into math and turn it to the great mathematician Isabella. She's going to discuss subtraction. So, okay, Isabella, what you got?
Hey guys, my name is Isabella. So today we're gonna be doing math, and the kind of math we're gonna do is subtraction and digit numbers. 54 minus 18. How do we solve it? So now, we need to start with this one because this one is the ones place. And this one is the tens place. So we start here. 4 minus 8. But 4 isn't bigger than 8. Then what do? Is borrow. So we take away, we cross out 5, and we make it into 4. And then you put a 1 next to 4. And now it's 14. Yeah. So now it's 14 minus 8 equals what? So you need to add it in circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now you take away 8. Now you need to cross out 8 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 14 minus 8 equals 6. Or minus 1 equals 3. Now what's the answer? 36. Good job, friends.
Great job, Isabella, for teaching us some math. And I've learned a lot. I think we all did. Now let's kind of turn it to some science. And I will be discussing fossils and different types of fossils and how they're created. So let's learn. Fossils. Plants and animals lived on the earth before people did. People know this because they have found fossils. A fossil is what is left of a plant or an animal that lived long ago. How fossils are made. Some plants and animals that died billions of years ago were eaten, many rotted away, other plants and animals became fossils. These pictures show one way fossils are made. A fish in the ocean dies. Its body sinks to the ocean floor. Soon, the fish is covered up with mud. More mud and sand cover the fish's body as it rots away. They press on the mud for a long time until this mud turns to rock. A print of the fish is left in the rock. Prints like this are one kind of fossil. Where fossils are found. Scientists find many kinds of fossils in rocks. Some are animal teeth, shells, bones that have turned to stone. Others are plants and animal prints. Scientists also find fossils in other things, such as tar and amber. Amber is the hard sap of pine trees that grew long ago. Scientists find some fossils inside rocks. To get the fossils out, they must chip the rock away. They work slowly and carefully so that they do not break the fossil. But we'll learn more about how scientists get fossils at another time. Fossils. Okay, great. We've covered every subject we wanted to cover for the week, except we have to give you that one special Spanish word to learn for the week. Ready? Ojo is eye, ojos is eyes. Okay? We're done. Take care. See you next week. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Don't do drugs. Don't smoke. Obey your parents. And exercise, because remember, a healthy body is a healthy mind. And before you go, can you do me this big favor? 4 things. Like, subscribe, share, and take care.